SnowTrax is sponsored by SkiDoo, Yamaha revs your heart, and by FXR Racing, world-class outerwear.
I've had a bit of a rocky relationship with SkiDoo's 1200 Fortec. In the beginning, I complained about the throttle lag off of idle, and many of you, SnowTrax viewers and die-hard SkiDoo fans, did not like what I had to say. The crazy part is, I actually like the rest of this sled a lot. I think it truly embodies everything a SkiDoo is supposed to be. Have my opinions changed on the motor though? We'll see. SkiDoo's current product line in 2014 is almost entirely based on a common structure. The Rev XS, XR, and even the XM all share similar parts under the hood. In the case of the XR, which is SkiDoo's 4-stroke platform, the tunnel and bulkhead are the same, but the motor mounting area is different than the XS, which is SkiDoo's 2-stroke platform. This is necessary, of course, because the 4-stroke motor is larger and its components are laid out differently. In terms of packaging, SkiDoo has done a stellar job with the XR. The motor sits extremely low, so the CG of the sled, even with the heavier 4-stroke motor inside, is also extremely low. When you look at a motor like this one, you begin to see why this is such a difficult task. There's just more stuff hanging off of this 1200 Fortec mill. Getting the motor wedged that far down in the bulkhead required moving some of the components farther away from the motor itself than would typically be considered ideal. Specifically, I'm talking about the throttle bodies, but more on that later. The XR bodywork is quite a bit different than the original XP, and, at the time, actually provided quite a bit better wind protection, especially around the knee area. This is actually one of the major deciding factors behind releasing the 2-stroke powered GTX and GSX models in the XR bodywork. Our 1200 is a TNT model, which means it doesn't include all the ultra high-tech gadgets SkiDoo has become famous for. It does, however, include all the necessary features any rider will need to fully enjoy this sled on the trail, all at a much more palatable price than some of the higher-end versions. What I meant when I said this sled embodies everything a SkiDoo is supposed to be was that even as a 4-stroke, the Rev XR platform, in all its iterations, rides and handles just like all other SkiDoos. It corners incredibly flat, it handles with unmatched precision, and it's got the absolute best rear end ride in the business thanks to its R-Motion skid frame. I would say these are the main characteristics that define a SkiDoo today. When somebody asks me, what makes a SkiDoo different from other brands, the first two things to pop into my head are precision handling and excellent ride quality, even from the TNT package. Now, let's talk about the big debate. The thing that has everyone riled up, and the one thing I don't like about this sled, the throttle lag. Oh, this is scary stuff, isn't it? The ideal layout for any motor is to have the throttle body located as close to the cylinder as possible. The closer it is, the less time it takes for the air to reach the cylinder when the throttle plate is opened. Because the throttle bodies are located so far from the cylinder on the XR chassis, there's a measurable wait time from when the throttle plate is open to when the air reaches the injector and the charge enters the cylinder. This is called throttle lag. You can love me or you can hate me, doesn't matter. It's a real thing, and as I've said in the past, it's annoying. Most people who ride only a 1200 Fortec adapt to the lag and eventually don't notice it at all. But when you're like us, and you have the ability to test things back to back in a quest to find the best of the best, this trait jumps out at you right away. Here's the good news. Once you get past the lag on initial tip-in from idle, this motor is a powerhouse. It's got incredible bottom end and posts top speed numbers that rival many sleds with way more horsepower. Clearly, SkiDoo knows how to make a 4-stroke motor. They just need to find more room inside this XR bulkhead for those throttle bodies. That would solve the lag problem, and this would likely become our favorite 4-stroke ever. All in all, I really like the MXZ 1200 Fortec TNT. I find it comfortable to sit on, it's warm, it's fast, it handles amazing, and its R-Motion skid frame provides arguably the smoothest ride money can buy. Are there things about this sled I'd like to change? Of course. There's always something about every sled that I would like to tweak. In the case of the 1200 Fortec TNT though, the base XR platform is excellent and this 1200 motor is very strong, so only minor tweaks would be necessary.
SnowTrax is sponsored by Quebec Original, where the snowmobile calls home.
Last year, SnowTrax Television and Supertrax Magazine partnered with Arctic Cat to give away serial number 2 of their 800RR Tucker Hibbert Special. When the snow dust settled, over 30,000 of you entered last year's contest. The winner was Doug Bay from Pennsylvania.
Congratulations, Doug. It's going to be awesome to go ride with you today. I hope you're excited. Speechless.
Part of the prize package was an all-expense-paid trip to Thief River Falls to actually meet and ride with Tucker Hibbert. The magnetic appeal of Tucker and his incredible reputation is becoming the stuff of legend in the snowmo biz. Tucker trail rode with Luke and Doug, and to everyone's surprise, Hibbert admitted he rarely ever gets to let loose on a trail sled. Arctic Cat was so pleased with last year's contest and the enormous response from across North America, they decided to amp up the contest for model year 2014. Here's the tweak. This season's contest was launched at Heydays last September, offering a model year 2014 limited production C-Tex 6000 powered ZR RR and an all-expense-paid trip to Thief River Falls to meet Team Arctic Cat racers from Christian Brothers Racing, a tour of the Christian Brothers facility, and a private pro snowcross demo on the Christian Brothers sweet test track. This year's winner was a Canadian, and he was not only overwhelmed by winning the prize, but by the experience of being notified that he had won.
Hi, I'm Matt Rowan from Smithville, Ontario, Canada. I won the snowmobile. Through a draw, I entered at a snowmobile show, and I'm still in shock that I won.
Matt, I'd like to welcome you to Christian Brothers Racing on behalf of Arctic Cat. I'd like to present you your ZR 6000 RR.
Thank you, Kale.
Let's take the cover off this bad boy and take a look at it.
Yes.
What do you think of that?
That's awesome.
All right.
That's awesome.
It's fantastic.
This is awesome.
I think this is like northern Minnesota hospitality, isn't it? After Matt received the royal treatment at Christian Brothers Racing, he headed out for a trail ride on his sweet ZR 6000 RR. This was no ordinary trail ride. Matt was joined by Christian Brothers Racing's Logan Christian, Dave Jonas, and Marika Renheim.
I'm extremely excited to ride in Minnesota. Yeah, right from Christian Brothers Racing. I have a feeling I won't be able to keep up.
Matt was stoked after riding his new 6000 RR with the racers from Christian Brothers.
Winning an Arctic Cat ZR 6000 RR is the coolest thing ever because I would never be able to afford one of these, and I know I'm gonna get tons of years of life out of it, and it's just gonna bring years of excitement and joy. I live for snowmobiling. It's where I spend all my time and my passion. I get to hang out with my brother like every weekend when we ride, and it's just awesome bonding experience, and yeah, it's awesome.
After an amazing day on the trails and an overwhelming welcome from both Arctic Cat and Christian Brothers Racing, we had one more surprise for Matt. Dinner at the iconic Black Cat Sports Bar and Grill in Thief River Falls, and an appearance by another Team Arctic racer.
Matt, we have one more surprise for you. This is Tucker.
How's it going?
Nice to meet you, man.
Nice to meet you.
How are you?
I'm my wife, Amanda.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Mind if we join you for dinner?
No.
You're fine.
Yes.
After an amazing day receiving his new sled, riding with Team Arctic racers, and meeting none other than Tucker Hibbert, Matt wrapped the whole experience up in his own words.
Absolutely amazing. Got treated like royalty, and I'm just an average guy who sleds on weekends. And yeah, it's phenomenal. Like your wildest dream times 1,000, and it's still not up to that level. I never thought I'd win, but you can't win if you don't enter.
Test Ride is sponsored by Camoplast High Performance Tracks. Revive your ride.
Man, oh man, what a difference a year can make. It was just 12 months ago in model year 13 that Yamaha's snowmobile division was in a tight spot. Sales were dismal and the market was not responding to the Big Y in a positive way. Then along comes a new partnership that's frankly rocked the entire snowmobile industry. Why has it rocked the snowmobiz, you may be wondering? It's not so much Yamaha has partnered with Arctic Cat to build snowmobiles, it's more that the product, the fruit of this landmark move, is not just okay, it's really good. Okay, so now you're going to think this test ride is going to be nothing more than a product stroke for Yamaha. It's not that simple. But there is something going on here. Well, it's almost like somebody sprinkled magic dust on the Viper. The Yamaha partnership with Arctic Cat was born out of necessity. Yamaha had pulled back from developing new products since 2008, and it was showing. The company's market share dropped to levels not seen since the pre-RX-1 days of the early 00s. Yamaha needed to get back in the game quick, and to do so, they were prepared to play an ace with Arctic Cat. The ace was Yamaha's amazing 1049cc triple-cylinder four-stroke engine. Frankly, just about everybody in the know in the snowmobile industry would say this is the best four-stroke engine. When Yamaha and Arctic Cat carved out their cooperative chassis and engine sharing deal, Arctic Cat was likely drooling at the opportunity to shoehorn the Yamaha 1049 into their four-stroke ready and highly effective Pro Cross chassis and put Arctic Cat badges on it. Likewise, when Yamaha discovered Arctic Cat's willingness to share their successful Pro Cross chassis, they too got a sweet deal. This season has seen not just incremental, but incredible sales success for the new Viper. In fact, we are told that market share increases have been substantial industry-wide for Yamaha. We're wondering if at the end of the 2014 season, some of Yamaha's top brass in the snowmobile division will have to have their smiles surgically removed. All kidding aside, is the new Viper Deluxe really as good as sales would seem to indicate? Yes, this is a good snowmobile that in its first year has proven exceptionally reliable and shocked the four-stroke marketplace with its out-of-the-box strong performance. It would appear Arctic Cat has learned some things from Yamaha about quality assembly, and Yamaha has learned some things from Arctic Cat about responding in a timely way to market trends. The Viper Deluxe might be our fave Viper in either 129 or 137 LTX versions. Our experience has taught us that the Pro Cross chassis responds favorably to coilover shocks up front. As well, the calibration Yamaha has chosen for the rear skid shocks is a little stiff to take full advantage of the slide action front arm and the coupled rear drop link. The slide action front arm allows the skid to remain uncoupled substantially longer than would otherwise be possible. This means the Viper literally slays trail chatter, but is still somewhat stiff in big bumps. We had questions about handling when we heard the Yamaha 1049 Triple was going to be slid into this chassis. Our concerns centered mainly around weight. Turns out the Yamaha Triple 1049cc engine actually weighs about 10 pounds less than Arctic Cat's 1100 Suzuki four-stroke. Here's one better. The new Viper is lighter than the Nitro as a complete package, and that bodes well for this sled's all-day trailability. We love the Viper's ergos with its near-perfect height bar riser and plumped-up seat top. Sitting to standing transitions are effortless. By the way, the windshield pictured here on the Viper Deluxe is not standard. This one is for the more sporty RTX version. Unfortunately, Yamaha underestimated demand for high windshields this season, so we switch windshields back and forth as the weather and travel obligations required. Standard amenities on the Viper Deluxe are abundant. There's a heated seat, an all-new digital display that has so many features we still haven't figured them all out yet, nice clean switchgear, and a standard travel bag mounted on the rear tunnel. Yamaha's fortunes have improved in model year 2014 because the Viper Deluxe is a really good snowmobile. As four-strokes go, our friends at Supertrax Magazine picked this sled as the runner-up for best-in-class four-stroke sled in its first year, beaten only by, you guessed it, the Arctic Cat ZR 7000. When the dust settles on model year 2014, there is one thing you're going to be able to count on. The legion of satisfied and happy Viper buyers this year are going to sell more Vipers for Yamaha in 2015.
SnowTrax is sponsored by Triton Trailers, the cornerstone of every adventure.
Now, a few weeks ago, I changed out the track on our Arctic Cat 270 horsepower turbo. I went for a 14-inch wide camoplast hacksaw that has a lower lug profile. I know what you're going to tell me. It's probably faster on the top end, but I'm not getting the grip I was getting with the previous track that was studded. While the new track design is solid, works incredibly well, and does provide great bite for both acceleration and braking, the truth is, with 270 horsepower, acceleration and braking are typically at a much higher track speed, so any additional grip is beneficial in more ways than one. Studding a track is something that most people are gonna let a dealership do, or bribe a friend who's done it before. But the truth is, with tools from a company like Woody's, it's just not that hard. Woody sent me the full install kit, including the template that shows me exactly how to properly place the studs on the track for drilling, the white marker to mark the track, and the cutting tool. Besides that, it's truly just drilling and bolting. It's pretty repetitive, but easy to do. Seeing as we've got so much power on tap, we wanted to make sure that we got really good bite, and a whole lot of it. So we're going to be putting 187 of these carbide tip studs into our 128-inch track. Using the Woody's trigger studs, we're going to maximize traction on the lake. This stud is purpose-built to enhance grip specifically on the ice, using a long narrow profile and a 60-degree carbide tip. With the power from our turbo getting to the ground quite quickly, we opted for a stud like the trigger to help gain maximum grip on the lakes, where this sled truly shines. And aiding the trigger stud is the angled digger support plate. This cool design actually tilts the stud 7 degrees forwards, so when under load, instead of the stud rotating back past its most useful 90-degree position, it stays perpendicular and nets the best bite possible. Super cool idea and totally functional. While getting maximum grip is pinnacle, something that's often overlooked is changing your carbides. And while they may be entirely shot, if they're not, I've got a very cool tool that's going to help you reshape them. The Bite Harder tool is a simple drill-installed bit that features a narrow channel in the center. With your drill on high, it's as simple as passing the channel over your carbide to reshape the current material. Only 10 to 20 seconds per side can clean up and refocus your runners, allowing you to take advantage of the entire carbide insert with maximum effectiveness over the entire lifetime of the runner. The current carbides on our Arctic Cat definitely benefited from the Bite Harder tool, but the truth is, I'm looking for more carbide runner altogether, and that means a complete new carbide. Choosing the right runner is just as important as choosing the right stud, and for our 270 horsepower turbo, I want to ensure I can get around the corners when required. The Woody's Ace utilizes a tall 1/2-inch square host bar to place the carbide as far down in the snow as possible. This means for a sled like the Turbo with a tall order of studs installed, we can offset the front end push that will no doubt become more evident. 60-degree carbide grabs hard, and a total of 8 inches per side means we have plenty of length to hold those hard trail carving corners. While there's a huge variety of stud and carbide combinations for every sled out there, it's important that you make the right choice for your riding style and intended purpose. And thanks to Woody's intuitive online application guide, you're only a few clicks away from the right traction products for you.
SnowTrax has been sponsored by Polaris Terrain Domination, Arctic Cat, share our passion, and by Go Ride Ontario, yours to discover.